It is July the 23rd, 1989. The Champs-Élysées bakes under a late summer sun. Crowds spill across the pavements. Cameras flash. Helicopters circle overhead. Two men clip in. Two bikes hum at the start line. One dream sits on the line. Laurent Fignon wears the yellow jersey, the pride of France. He leads the Tour de France by 50 seconds. All that's left is a final time trial, 24.5 kilometres to glory. He looks tired, pale, but focused, determined. Greg LeMond, his American rival, sits behind him. Aero helmet, special handlebars, silent. What Fignon doesn't know, what no one knows, is that he's about to lose the unlosable. Not by a minute, not by a crash, but by the smallest margin in Tour de France history. This is not just a story of a race, it's a story of pride, pain, and the unbearable weight of almost. This is the story of Laurent Fignon. Laurent Fignon plays football before he ever touches a racing bike. He's good at it, really good. By his teens, he's representing his département, the local area. Fast feet, fast mind. He sees the whole pitch. Coaches say he could go somewhere with it. But then a friend, a pushy one, convinces him to try something new. Cycling. In '76, he lines up for his first race. Skinny, scruffy, with a cheap old bike. He's nervous. And then he wins. That's all it takes. The spark is lit. But there's a problem. His parents don't approve. To them, cycling is too dangerous, too distracting. It's not a future. It's not a career. So Laurent rides in secret, hides his kit, slips out quietly, wins 4 more races that year, without his parents even knowing. The next year is tougher. Just 1 win. But in his 3rd year, he explodes. 18 wins out of 36. It's no longer a hobby, it's a calling. Eventually he comes clean. His parents accept the truth, reluctantly. They allow the racing, but insist on studies. The bike is a phase. University is the plan. Fignon enrolls at Villetaneus, studying structural and material science. A serious field, a safe path, but he's miserable. He stares out of lecture halls, thinking about open roads. He barely scrapes through exams. All he wants is to ride. By the end of the year, he makes a decision. He tells his parents he's dropping out. Not to go pro, but to join the army. It's mandatory service, but he's no ordinary recruit. He gets posted to the Bataillon de Joinville, the elite sports unit of the French military. It's here, among future Olympians and pro-hopefuls, that Fignon finds his rhythm. He races, trains, pushes, wins. And when the Tour of Corsica comes around in '81, a rare chance for amateurs to ride alongside pros, Fignon spots his hero, Bernard Hinault. He latches onto Hinault's wheel, testing himself against the best rider in the world. And he holds on, for most of the race. No one expects it, but someone notices. Cyril Guimard, one of France's sharpest cycling minds, watches the young upstart. A few weeks later, at a national time trial, Fignon impresses again. Guimard is convinced. In May 1981, he offers Fignon a place on his Renault Elf Gitane team. Fignon is 21. He signs the contract alongside his old friend Pascal Jules. By '82, he's a full-time professional, the kid with the glasses, the professor, the outsider. He's no longer chasing dreams in secret. He's about to take on the biggest race in the world. July the 1st, 1983, Laurent Fignon is not supposed to ride the Tour de France. He's 22, still new, still raw, just a second-year pro. The team plan is simple. Protect the star, support the mission. That star is Bernard Hinault, the Badger. 5'8" of snarling, ruthless French muscle, a living legend. Fignon's job, fetch bottles, block wind, stay out of the way. But plans don't last long in the mountains. Hinault pulls out of the race with a knee injury just before the start. Renault are suddenly without a leader. And Guimard, that sharp-eyed coach, makes a decision no one sees coming. He tells the young one, "You're going in." Fignon blinks, quietly nods. He doesn't boast, he doesn't panic. He clips in, lowers his glasses, and begins pedalling toward destiny. The first week is steady. He stays near the front, studies the rhythm. The veterans don't take him seriously. They see the glasses, the youth, the pale skin, and they underestimate him. Big mistake. As the road tilts upward into the Pyrenees, Fignon changes. He doesn't attack like a maniac. He doesn't ride like a showman. He climbs with poise, like someone solving an equation. Other riders lurch. He glides, measured, efficient, icy. On the descents, he leans into curves with elegance. Never flashy, but never flustered. His mind razor sharp. His body built for the long grind. Journalists start to whisper. The crowds begin chanting his name. Fignon! Fignon! No longer the professor. Now the prodigy. He takes the yellow jersey with calm disbelief. No theatrics, no chest pounding, just a soft-spoken line. I came here to learn, but now I know I can win. And then he does. In Paris, the crowd erupts as he crosses the line. Arms up, head high, a ghost of a smile. A 22-year-old nobody becomes the youngest winner of the Tour de France in decades. But it's not just a win, it's a statement, a line drawn in the tarmac. The old guard isn't gone, but the future has arrived. But if the 83 Tour was the curtain raiser announcing the youngster to the world, 84 can't come quick enough. It is June the 29th of 1984. Laurent Fignon rolls up to the Tour de France not as an underdog, but as a defending champion. Gone is the wide-eyed newcomer. In his place, a lean, coiled machine with sharp words and sharper legs. He has something to prove. Some call his win in 83 a fluke. Others say the race lacked real competition. Bernard Hinault didn't ride. Greg LeMond isn't ready yet. Fignon doesn't argue. He just starts pedalling. The prologue sets the tone. He finishes second, just behind Bernard Hinault's new teammate, Vincent Barteau. But Fignon is biding his time. He stalks the race like a panther. Then comes stage 7, the first real mountain test in the Vosges. Fignon attacks on the final climb to La Plonge des Belles Filles. It's not wild, not reckless. It's precise. He dances on the pedals, grimaces behind his gold-rimmed glasses, and crosses the line alone. The message is clear. The professor has graduated. 2 days later, stage 9. The time trial to Strasbourg. Fignon unleashes power most riders didn't think he had. Over 67 kilometres, he doesn't just win, he crushes the field. Hinault is nowhere close. LeMond, watching from the sidelines, takes notes. From that moment on, the yellow jersey is his. But he's not done. In the Alps, stage 17, he flies up Alpe d'Huez, the sacred ground of cycling. He isn't the first to the top, but he holds firm, loses no time. Every pedal stroke is calculated, every grimace measured. He rides with the discipline of a scientist and the heart of a street fighter. Then another time trial. Stage 21, 51 kilometres of solo suffering in the Jura. Fignon destroys the clock again. Rivals shake their heads. Commentators start comparing him to Eddie Merckx. France falls in love all over again. The final stats are jaw-dropping. He wins the Tour de France with a lead of 10 minutes and 32 seconds, one of the biggest margins in modern history. He takes 5 stages, wears the yellow jersey for 2 weeks, and dominates both in the mountains and the time trials. He becomes more than a cyclist. He becomes a symbol. The glasses, the ponytail, the sharp tongue, the brain, the legs. France hasn't just found a champion. They've found a personality. He's not universally loved, but he's undeniably respected. At the finish in Paris, under blue skies and champagne spray, Fignon lifts his arms, calm, cold, in control. He has conquered the Tour. And this time no one calls it luck. July 1st, 1989. Laurent Fignon is 30. Older now. Lean, still, but not boyish. His ponytail is longer, his glare colder. He rides for Super U now. No longer part of the Renault empire, No longer a prince, but the hunger is still there. He hasn't won a tour in 5 years. He's had injuries, a ruptured Achilles, a doping ban, a growing reputation for arrogance. But this year, he's ready. He wins Milan-San Remo again in March, the longest, cruelest one-day race on the calendar. He looks sharp, precise, dangerous. So when the '89 Tour de France begins, he believes, truly believes, it's his again. But there's someone else, Greg LeMond. The American is back from the woods, literally. After a near-fatal hunting accident in '87, buckshot in his body, 2 years off the bike, he is not expected to contend. Not seriously. But LeMond is different now. He's quieter, more calculating. He arrives with new technology, aero handlebars, disc wheels, space-age helmets. Fignon scoffs at them, calls them gimmicks, not real cycling. LeMond doesn't argue. He just rides. The Tour unfolds like a chess match. The first-time trial, LeMond wins. Fignon looks rattled. Then, in the Alps, Fignon hits back. Savage attacks one after the other. LeMond cracks in the mountains. The yellow jersey changes hands. Again and again, the tension builds with every stage. The press feed the fire. They don't talk. They don't smile. At hotels, they avoid each other. In the Peloton, they don't exchange a word. This is not rivalry. This is war. July 21st, stage 20. Fignon explodes up the final climb to La Plagne. LeMond cracks again. The Frenchman crosses the line in agony, almost collapsing, but smiling through the pain. He retakes the yellow jersey. Now he leads by 50 seconds. Only one stage remains. Stage 20, a 24.5 kilometre individual time trial. Fignon is in yellow. The Arc de Triomphe waits at the finish. 50 seconds. That's all he needs to hold. But something's wrong. He hasn't slept. He feels off. His back hurts. He doesn't tell anyone, but team staff notice. He's twitchy, distant. He refuses an aero helmet, says it makes him look stupid. He doesn't warm up like usual. He seems distracted, angry. The tension coils around him like wire. LeMond, calm, focused. He straps on his helmet, tucks into his handlebars, closes his eyes. LeMond launches. He looks like a missile, low, tight, aerodynamic. His cadence is absurd, over 100 RPM. His mouth hangs open, gasping. His legs blur. He is fighting time itself. The crowds roar. The clock ticks. Fignon waits at the start house. 1 minute, then 2. He rolls out, and immediately something's wrong. His upper body rocks. His rhythm looks laboured. He's working too hard. Not enough glide. Not enough calm. On the first split, LeMond is gaining. 5 seconds, then 10, then 24. The roadside fans sense it. They go quiet. Fignon pushes, screams at himself, spits on the tarmac. He knows what's happening, and he knows he can't stop it. The Champs-Élysées appears ahead, and the cobbles, the crowd, the final cruel rattle of stones. He finishes, he slumps, he stares. LeMond wins the stage. Now comes the math. Fingers on calculators. Stopwatches compared. 8 seconds. That's the gap. 8 seconds. The closest margin in the history of the Tour de France. Laurent Fignon sits on the pavement, eyes wide, body broken. His face is blank. He doesn't cry. He doesn't speak. He just stares. Years later, he says he loses that day, not because LeMond is stronger, but because he doesn't adapt. He rides like it's still 1984. Technology, tactics, time all move on. But Fignon doesn't. And that stubbornness, that beautiful, tragic stubbornness, is what makes him unforgettable. The man who loses by 8 seconds and gains something more, a place in legend. Laurent Fignon retires from professional cycling in 1993. There is no grand farewell, no final lap of honour. He doesn't want it. That's never been his way. His relationship with cycling, it's complicated, passionate but bruised, triumphant yet unfinished. He slips away from the sport as a competitor, but not from the race itself. He becomes a race organiser. He helps run Paris-Nice. He brings order to chaos. He mentors young riders. He shows them how to suffer with dignity, how to lose with fire in the belly, and how to think while riding. He also becomes a commentator, calm, honest, fiercely intelligent. On French TV, he dissects races with a scholar's eye and a warrior's memory. His voice is gravelly, the delivery blunt. He doesn't sugarcoat. He doesn't do nostalgia. Then, in 2009, the news breaks. Laurent Fignon has cancer. Advanced cancer. The diagnosis is grim. It's in his lungs, then spreads. The irony isn't lost. He was once a smoker back in the early days. He doesn't hide it. He doesn't hide anything. He faces the disease like he faces a climb, with quiet resolve and flashes of fire. A year later, he pens a book, Nous étions jeunes et insouciants. We were young and carefree. It is not just a memoir, but a confession. Honest, raw. He talks about doping, about pain, about winning, about loss, about the cost of chasing greatness. He still appears on TV during the Tour de France, his voice weaker now, the fatigue visible. Viewers watch him fade in real time, but he keeps showing up, because that's what riders do. It is August the 31st, 2010. A warm Parisian morning. Quiet. The people are away holidaying on the final day of summer. In a Paris hospital, Fignon breathes his last. He is 50 years old. France mourns. The cycling world bows its head. Riders wear black armbands. Tributes pour in from champions and journeymen alike, because whether they loved him or not, they respected him. Laurent Fignon wins 2 back-to-back Tour de France in 83 and 84. He finishes second twice. He wins Milan-San Remo twice. He takes stages in the Giro d'Italia, the Tour, and more. But it's not just about results. It's the way he rides. He rides with intelligence, with nerve, with defiance. He doesn't ride to be liked. He rides to win. And when he loses, and especially in 89, he doesn't complain. He doesn't make excuses. He simply says, that's sport. And maybe that's what makes him legendary. Not just the yellow jerseys, not just the glasses, the hair, the headstrong interviews, but the courage to be human in a sport that demands the superhuman. He wasn't the most beloved, he wasn't the most marketable, but when the road tilted upward and the Tour was on the line, he was unforgettable. That's Laurent Fignon, the professor, the purist, the rider who made history and never asked for applause.